Hello there. I'd like to introduce Sharon Duce. So, we're in Sheffield, and you were born in Sheffield.
Yep.
So, what's it like coming back home? Do you come back quite often?
No, I don't. Are there any Sheffield people in here? Hooray! And please put your hands up if you're an owl. Oh, one. Thank God for that. It's getting better, isn't it?
Just.
Yeah. No, it is. It's getting better. What did you ask me?
Do you come back a lot?
Do you come here often? Oh, yeah, that's a different chat-up line, isn't it? I've just been told, so only a few from Sheffield might be able to answer this, and I hope it's not true, that steel, that fantastic steel thing with the water coming down when you come out of Midland Station, isn't Sheffield steel. Oh, please tell me it's not true. Does anybody know the truth behind it? Because can you imagine, we made steel in this city, and if that's imported German or Japanese steel, I'm going to write to somebody. But anyway, so you can't answer that question. Yes, it's great. I've not seen a lot of it because I've been signing autographs. But I will be back for longer. I hope to come back for longer. Last time I came here was about 3 years ago, and I kept crying around every corner. But that was because I kept being reminded of places I kind of started, because I started my career here. I read the Bible when I was 12 for the headmaster in Montgomery Hall, and then I worked at the Sheffield Playhouse, which is no longer, of course, because it's the Crucible now. But that's where I started off, really, as an acting ASM.
Wow.
At the tender age of 17, I think, or 16, I can't remember, it's 17.
So, going back to, say, about a year, 18 months ago, we were seeing you on Coronation Street.
I know, what about that?
Oh.
Yeah.
Tell us about your time on Coronation Street.
Oh, right. It was written by Lucy Gannon. Now, Coronation Street have about 15 writers, and then they bring guest writers in. And because mine was a dramatic storyline, they brought in Lucy Gannon, who was a well-known northern writer. She slagged off London a bit, but then I don't think she went to the right clubs myself. Or the right, I know the beer's not as good. But anyway, you don't need to know that. It was a good storyline because I think it was, in all soaps, they spell it out to the audience as if they're half-baked. So they needed to spell out what was going to happen. It was quite obvious he was going to be the father of the child, Edward D'Souza. So I think they should have kept that under wraps a bit longer. But it was nice to be in a storyline that was dramatic, if you like. I got to tear down the set of the Rovers. It was brilliant. That was my idea. I thought, if I'm going to be in Coronation Street, I'm going to tear the set down. So I was allowed to pull the poster down. And I remember the director saying, we can't have too many takes of that, you know. We've only got 3 posters. So I said, well, you better get your cameras in the right position. So yeah, I was really pleased to do that.
Okay, and also recently you did, and I thoroughly enjoyed it because I've read the play, Passionate Woman. You were in that as well.
I was, yes. Briefly. Yeah. I've not got a lot to say about that. I thought the first half was better than the second half. And I wasn't in the first half, so that's why I've not got a lot to say about it. I preferred the first half. I thought it hung together better. The whole thing, it was a film of 2 halves. And sadly, I was the back end of the cow.
It's very different to the stage version.
Oh, I never saw the stage version.
Right, okay.
I don't get out much. And when I do, I drink yums. I haven't done any today, mind. This is me on a normal day. This is me sober. God help me when I'm drunk.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a bit of a cheeky question here.
Oh, yes.
Whilst researching you, I came across that apparently you did and I apologise for children in the audience here, you did the voiceover for the Lover's Guide. What Women Want.
I did, and I didn't learn a thing.
I was just about to ask you, do you know what women want?
No,
Can you give me a few pointers?
I learned more. I'm going to plug my friend's book now. I learned more from Julie Peasgood's book on sex. Now, she's a friend of mine, Julie, and she knew somebody who published books. It turned out to be a bit of a rotter, and she didn't get paid, but, well, not enough. And she'd done a guide, British Guide to Pubs, British Guide to something, and she'd done one, I think it was teddy bears or something, not far from sex, I suppose, depending on how you look at it. And he said, oh, I'm having trouble finding somebody doing, you know, the best guide to sex, or whatever the book was called. She said, I'll do that. He said, are you sure? She said, yeah, I'll do that. Easily. I'll send you a synopsis. So she went home to her husband and said, oh my God, I've just agreed to do a guide on a sex guide. And her husband said, oh God, what are we going to do? Anyway, between them, they came up with a synopsis, and it was passed through. And she jokingly said, you know, well, we'll be ringing you for tips. Well, that sounds a bit rude, doesn't it? Anyway, she never did. I was most upset about that. I thought, well, did you not think I had any? And anyway, so this book was only this big. I learned more from that than I ever did from The Lover's Guide, I'll tell you. Very interesting. Pardon?
Doesn't matter how big it is.
Exactly. It was the content.
Okay, moving on to Doctor Who.
Oh yes, well, we've got from sex to Doctor Who. It's so interesting, that, isn't it?
How did you get the part of Control?
I've no idea. I can't remember. The director was called Frost, I think.
Anyone out there?
Frost, I think it was.
Who was the director?
Oh no, it wasn't. Anybody remember the director's name on Ghostlight?
Is it Waring?
Who?
Chris Clough?
No, that doesn't sound right.
Waring.
Waring, that's possible. He was a youngish man.
We've all got the cover, can we?
He was youngish, but he could have been a bit more adventurous, and I'll tell you for why.
Alan Waring.
Alan Waring, yeah. Have we heard of him since at all? Has he written a sex guide? No. So Alan Waring, I remember, I don't know how I got the part, except they just, in those days, unlike now, you're auditioned by about 10 people, but in those days, the good old days, a director just knew your work. They didn't even have casting directors at the BBC, and would say, oh, I want Sharon Duce, and you barely audition, and all those were the days. But now everybody's worried about ratings, and so they all come out of their ivory towers, of which there are too many, and it's all done by committee. Now, let me not lose track here. So, Control, that intrigued. I read the script, didn't understand a word of it, but thought, well, it is Doctor Who. And then the rest of the cast made it all fit into place. I tell you what, Doctor Who is the only... we rehearsed it in a place called Acton Hilton. Well, obviously, it's not a hotel. It was big rehearsal rooms in Acton, near where I live. And the other day, they were pulling it down. So I took lots of photographs of it, because it was such an iconic building, because the people that have rehearsed in that building, and let's face it, that's where the last Doctor Who was rehearsed, was in this building. And there's the lift. I've taken photographs of the lift, because I can remember bumping into Eric Morecambe and saying, hi, how are you? You look well. Thinking, oh shit, you're Eric Morecambe, I don't know you from a hole in the wall. You must think me really, you know, a bit ridiculous.